Shri Guruve Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam, Dadati Swapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakabalam, Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam, Sagadanatam, Tamasidevam, Sadvaitam, Savadutam, Parijnasitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan, Sagadata, Shri Vishakatamsha, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So wishing you all a very happy Govardhan Puja. So Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So today we will be discussing the pastimes of Govardhan Puja. So this pastime is divided into two parts. The first part is about Lord Krishna convincing Nanda Maharaj to stop the worship of Indra Puja and uh, divert the sacrificial offerings to the worship of Govardhan Puja. So, and the second part is the lifting of Govardhan Hill. That part will be discussed by Srivas Prabhu. I will be discussing about the first part where Lord Krishna convinces Nanda Maharaj about worshipping of the Govardhan Hill. So there was an elaborate arrangements made for the worship of there was elaborate arrangements made by Nanda Maharaj for Indra Puja. So the Lord as the super soul knew the arrangements were going on for the worship of Indra Puja, but still the Lord humbly approaches Nanda Maharaj and these the senior cowherd men. So, and he wants to know what was actually happening. So he humbly approaches Nanda Maharaj and requests him to explain, like, what is this arrangement all about, and whether it was done as per the Vedic tradition. So, or it is just an ordinary custom, or whether it is as per the Vedic tradition or Vedic sacrifice, what they are going to perform. So Lord Krishna was telling Nanda Maharaj, I'm willing to hear with good faith. So please explain it to me. What is this arrangement all about? So then Nanda Maharaj, Lord Krishna also tells him that so people who are benevolent, so they should not hold any secrets. So and so who does not have the distinction of mine and another, so they should not hold secrets. Secrets to friends, neutrals, or enemies. At least even if the enemies and the neutrals are avoided as enemies, still you can disclose it to your friend. So, and Lord Krishna, being the son of Nanda Maharaj, he said that so he was willing to know, and it becomes his duty to explain so what was happening. So Nanda Maharaj explains to Krishna that the arrangement was meant for the worship of Indra, who is the supplier of rain. So by the supply of rain, so all the creatures will become, all the necessities of the life are taken care of. So therefore, we worship Lord Indra, who is the bestower of rain and who is the sustainer of all the living entities. So by giving rain. So then uh, Lord Krishna, he becomes uh, so he wants Lord Krishna is thinking, so all these devotees of Raja, they are my eternal associates. Why they should divert their attention to the worship of a tiny demigod? And there was also reason behind why the Lord wanted to stop the sacrifice, or he wanted to cut down the mountain-like pride of Indra. So there were two hidden reasons behind why the Lord was trying to stop this sacrifice. So because the Lord does not appreciate the pride in a devotee. So therefore, to cut down the pride of Indra, so the Lord wanted to stop this sacrifice, and at the same time, he wanted to convince Nanda Maharaj that this was not uh, proper. So therefore, he wanted his this arrow, the statements of Nanda Maharaj arouse a transcendental anger, and he wanted to bring his devotees and convinces devotees that they have to take his complete shelter. So here we see that Lord Krishna, he talks about the karma mimamsa philosophy. So it is more, it is this karma mimamsa philosophy is nothing but a atheistic philosophy. He says that by the force of karma, the jiva is born in this material world. The destruction of this material world, his happiness, security, everything is dependent on the karma of the living being. So therefore, he's saying that if when so even if some controller is there who bestows upon you, so the result of the good and bad activities, still the controller is dependent on the performer, is dependent on the performer of the sa- is dependent on the sacrifice performed by the performer. So therefore, Indra is not going to change the destiny anyway. So there is no point in still there is no point in worshipping Indra. So the Lord was speaking in this way to arouse the anger of Indra. So at the same time, so he said like so everybody is conditioned in this material world. So this is called as Svabhava. According to the conditioned nature, everybody is functioning in this material world. So and according to the conditioned nature, so one takes up a particular kind of profession or an activity depending on his own conditioned nature. So therefore, the Brahmanas are by their own conditioned nature are bound to do a particular kind of activity. Kshatriyas do a particular kind of activity. The Vaishyas do a particular kind of activity. So depending on their own conditioned nature, therefore the conditioned nature uh, becomes the friend, the enemy, the neutral, the spiritual master, and the worship of God. And here the Lord is trying to say that the work is worship. So as a community of Vaishyas, we are supposed to take care of the cows. We are supposed to take care of the Brahmanas. So we are supposed to take care of um, uh, the cows, the brahmanas at the Govardhan hill, who is supplying all the necessities, so which are meant for the cows. He is giving us rain, he is giving us shade, he is giving us, he is giving the grass to the cows, so he is giving us shelter. So therefore, worship of the Govardhana hill becomes more appropriate in this case than worshipping Indra. So the Lord is trying to convince in this way. He is also saying that the three modes of material nature is the controller of everything. So by the mode of passion, the the rain is uh, the rain is bestowed on the earth by the mode of passion, and the living entities are sustained by the mode of passion in the terms of in the form of sexual indulgence. Things are going on. Like this is a kind of completely atheistic philosophy which the Lord is trying to project. But that was not the intention of the Lord. But here Sridhar Swami, so in his commentary, he is mentioning that the Lord is trying to present the uh, six kinds of atheistic philosophy here. Six kinds of points are brought here. According to Sridhara Swami, the Lord presented six theoretical points in this chapter. One is he is saying that karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny, that one's conditioned nature is the supreme controller, that the modes of nature are the supreme controller, and that the supreme Lord is simply dependent on karma, and he is under the control of karma. That one occupation is the actual worshipable deity. So these 6 points was presented by Krishna. So, and Sridhara Swami is also giving an explanation why the Lord presented these 6 different kinds of philosophy. The Lord presented these arguments not because he believed them, but rather because he wanted to stop the impending sacrifice to Indra and divert it to himself in the form of Govardhan hill. So, therefore, here we have to understand the Lord was presenting this philosophy not to follow this philosophy, but to divert the attention towards the worship of himself. So that's the reason the focus of the devotee should not go to the worship of demigods, because they are not, even though the arrangement is made by the Lord that for the peaceful existence of the living entities in this material, there is an arrangement between the demigods and the living entities by the performance of sacrifice. But as devotees of the Lord, so this is meant for the peaceful existence of the society where not everybody is a devotee of the Lord. But when it comes to the devotees of the Lord wants an exclusive surrender. So he wants that ahaitukhi apratihata bhakti towards him. So this is what the Lord is expecting from his devotee, and he did not want his devotees to divert their attention to the worship of any demigod. So this was the primary reason why the Lord wanted to divert their attention. So the Lord said that as he was presenting that, so all the requirements what we need. So we are not the dwellers of a village or a town. So we are the dwellers of the forest. So we are more dependent on Govardhana hill and the cows. So let there be a worship of worship for the pleasure of the cows, the brahmanas of the Govardhana hill. So the Lord diverted all the arrangements made for the performance of Indra's sacrifice towards the worship of the Govardhana hill. So then all the paraphernalia which were paraphernalia in the form of grains, fruits, vegetables. So all these arrangements were diverted to the worship of Govardhana hill. The Lord told everybody that they have to make uh, all different kinds of wonderful preparations. So everybody needs to be fed. Even the fallen animals like the dogs and the dog eaters, everybody has to be have to be fed to their full satisfaction. And and they let the brahmanas, they perform sacrifice, and they chant the Vedic mantras. So and let all the brahmanas also be given cows and other paraphernalia and in charity. So all these things were given. Uh, so all the paraphernalia which was meant for the sacrifice of Indra was finally diverted. And the proposal, when Lord made the proposal to Nanda Maharaj, he told him, if this satisfies you, please carry on. So then all the residents of the Vraja, they were convinced with the proposition made by the Lord. So, and finally the offerings was made to all the wonderful preparations was made. Everybody ate to their complete satisfaction. So even the everybody in the community, including the dog eaters, the chandalas, everybody was fed to their complete satisfaction. So and the Lord asked them to dress very nicely. So and keeping the cows in the front, and so everybody was made to board the bullock carts. So and all the ladies of the Rajada, so they were all singing the glories of Krishna, and the Brahmanas were chanting the mantras, and accompanied by everybody, they circumambulated the Govardhana hill. The Lord, to convince them, assumed the form of a huge Govardhan hill and said, I am Govardhan. So he ate all the offerings um, made made by the Vrajavasis, and also gave them back also. So this is how the worship of the Govardhana hill began. So the Lord, all along with all the residents, offered his pranams to the Govardhana hill. So this is how the Lord convinces Nanda Maharaj, so to divert their attention from the worship of Indra to the worship of Govardhana hill. Hare Krishna. So over to Shiva's Prabhu for second part of the pastime. Hare Krishna. Shiva's Prabhu.
Haribol. Yes, Prabhu. So we have 10 more minutes. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. So thank you, Venudari Prabhu. So today is a very auspicious day. It is actually Giriraj Govardhan's appearance day. 5,000 years before, when Lord Shri Krishna was there in this material world, he performed this glorious festival in the as a great childhood pastime, and Govardhan Puja was celebrated, and all worship was given to Govardhan. So whenever we explain the opulence of Krishna to others, like how he killed various demons and how he is God, one thing we always mention is how he, at a very young age of I think 6-7 years, he lifted Govardhan with a small finger in the left hand side. So this is a glorious pastime of Lord Krishna, and Krishna was actually taught by his example how Giriraj should be served with love. So now just to understand, Govardhan is actually non-different from Krishna himself, and Krishna himself is worshipping Govardhan himself, and Krishna accepts the role of a servant of Lord. So Govardhan is non-different from Krishna. At the same time, Krishna is worshipping Govardhan, and then Govardhan himself take a role of a servant of Lord, and he serves Krishna. It is very difficult to understand this. He is also called as Haridas Varya. Anybody knows who is another Haridas Varya, as given in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam? The greatest servant of Lord Krishna. No guess? Okay. It's actually Yudhishthir Maharaj. So like that, Govardhan is also considered to be a great servant of Lord Krishna. And it is said in Varaha Purana, one who worships Govardhan and does parikram, he never takes birth again in this material world. So today, if you go to Vrindavan, Govardhan, I don't know about this year because of COVID and other thing, but generally on this day, everybody does parikram of Govardhan, which comes a stretch of around 20 to 25 kilometers. So they all do parikram of Govardhan, and they all pray for the pure devotional service unto Lord Krishna. So Giriraj is very merciful, and I think around 10 years before or 7-8 years before, we all went, and on Govardhan Puja day, we all did in the night parikram of Govardhan. I don't know how many all were there. Maybe they can raise here their digital hand. So I think it was 2010 or something like that. So Giriraj is pastime is so amazing. So maybe in evening we will be detailedly Venugari Prabhu will be speaking. So as this pastime, we see many lessons from various pastime. So one thing is Krishna teaching that as a devotee we should never be proud. That's the first important lesson we need to learn from Govardhan pastime of Lord Krishna. Because Indra felt that Krishna is stopping the sacrifice which the residents of Rajabhumi were offering every year, and he becomes very angry and starts sending the Samavartaka cloud and pouring. So then Krishna teaches a lesson by lifting the Govardhan and performing this pastime. So whenever we perform any devotional service, we see Indra then and there, yesterday also, Indra was, one minute. Hare Krishna, sorry. So Indra, how then and there he becomes very proud and Krishna corrects them. So similarly, we should not become proud. That's the first lesson of this Govardhan pastime. And the second lesson which we have to learn is we always want association of Krishna in the form, like at least devotees want to take association of Krishna in the form of hearing his holy name, chanting, hearing his pastimes. So whenever we don't get that opportunity, always we feel separation. So it is said that the Vrajavasis, like the gopis, the elderly gopis, the gopas, they all actually, they have a very stipulated time in Vrindavan. They will have association of Krishna. Like for example, as soon as Yashoda has Krishna's association, he sleeps with Yashoda, and then he gets up, and then he gets ready, and as soon as he leaves to graze the cows, then Yashoda feels very bad that he is missing his association. And all the gopas are very happy because they are having the association. And then when the evening comes, Krishna leaves the gopas and they come and be with the mother. And then the gopas, they feel separation. So they all had a great desire that they want to have Krishna's association always. So actually through this Govardhan festival, all the continuously 7 days, Krishna was giving association to all the residents of Vrindavan. The gopis, the gopas, uh, the elderly gopis, the cows, the calves and peacocks. So through this Govardhan festival, Krishna was giving association to all the residents of Vrindavan. So sometimes Krishna is very mercifully on their devotees, increases their intense desire by means of these pastimes. And through this Govardhan pastime, Krishna also showed one more great thing, that he is very much satisfied when his devotees offers tulasi. Actually, when we do Govardhan Parikram, we come across a place called Aniur village. Anybody have heard this name? I think during our Parikram, after I think that particular part, there is a village called Aniur. So in this, there's a wonderful pastime that, Govardhan, the mountain, transforms himself into Krishna, and then, they are offering all the footsteps. Today, they announced that to bring Boga, and they will be offering to Govardhan, and also they'll be using the Boga to make Govardhan. So the Vrajavasis were actually offering everything to Govardhan on the instruction of Lord Krishna. So to their surprise, how much ever they offer to Govardhan is consuming. They are bringing rice, halwa, puri, kachori, samosas, kheer, rasagullas. Oh, we have the I think from Vrindavan, we have every items offered to Govardhan. And to their surprise, Govardhan is keep on consuming. So then Nanda Baba tells, oh, everybody please go back to your house, cook and bring again. So with their hardships, they all go and they prepare and then they bring. Then within a second, Govardhan consumes. So they were all wondering what to do. And what to do. They are keep on bringing. And then one Brahmana goes around that place, Anur. So then he sees all the Vrajavasis and great anxiety. They keep offering, and Govardhan is keep on consuming. And then he comes, he plucks a tulasi, and then he plucks the tulasi and then just throws on the mouth of Govardhan. Actually, you see, Govardhan transforms himself into Krishna. So that's why we actually decorate Govardhan like a mountain, and then we offer eyes, tilak, mouth, everything. So to the mouth he offered the tulasi, and immediately Govardhan was satisfied. He said, belched, oh, enough, Hare Krishna. So that place is called Anur. Enough, not more. That was the meaning. So like that, various pastimes happened, and we can all spend some time reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We can remember Giriraj, and we can pray in this day to the Giriraj Maharaj, to Govardhan, to award pure devotional service unto the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna, so that we can serve Lord Krishna with pure motivations and pure devotion. And also, actually, one of the greatest service we can do to Govardhan is to do parikrama. Okay, so it is said that Sanatana Goswami used to perform parikram. Every day, once he will do this parikram. So when we go for parikram, we think after we finish our circumambulation, we feel very great. Only next year, like that. But Sanatana Goswami, every day he used to do this. And Lord Krishna personally came and told Sanatana Goswami, was very old, it is enough, don't worry, it is not required for you to do this parikram. And he said, no, that's my regulative principle, I need to do this. And then Krishna said, don't worry, I will give you a small Giriraj Govardhan Shila, and you can have this, and then if you circumambulate this Govardhan Shila, you will get the same benefit of doing Govardhan Parikram. So anybody can guess where is that Shila is now in Vrindavan?
Radha Govinath temple.
No. Actually, it is in Radha-Damodar temple. So devotees, what they do is when they are not able to go to do Govardhan Parikram, because sometimes they just go for one day to Vrindavan and take darshan of the deities and come back, because if you go to Govardhan again, you need to travel and then you need to go. It will take a long time. The schedule may not affect. So they are very intelligent. They understand the benediction of given to Sanatana Goswami. They go to Radha Govind Damodar temple. The Govardhan Shila is there, and then they do parikram. I think they do 4 times or 7 times, something like that, and they get the benefit of doing parikram of Govardhan. So we can remember all these wonderful pastime, read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and take the immense mercy of Shri Giriraj Govardhan. श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव
जय।
को प्रेमानंदी।
हरि हरि बोल।
हरे
हरे कृष्ण। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो।
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण।
Prabhu, I have one small request, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, morning I couldn't able to justify complete broadcast of Mangalarti. So I just need 5 minutes time to present Darshanarti, if you don't mind, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. You can go ahead.
Today, thanks, Prabhu. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Shri Vrinda ki. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for giving this permission. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thanks for the darshan.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Giriraj Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.